Shooter games usually take a lot of time to make, which makes sense considering all the complex stuff that goes into something as simple as equipping and shooting a weapon. But what if I only spent 1 minute on a shooter game? Timer starts now. Okay, let's add some enemies. Okay, that's enough. We need a script and we need to check for inputs. Okay, we need a raycast. Now we need to damage the enemies. Okay, that's time. Now, if I click, I should damage this guy. Yeah, you can barely even call it a shooter game, but what if I increase the time to 10 minutes or 1 hour or even 10 hours? Okay, time for 10 minutes. Now I have a lot more time, so I can actually make a visible gun. Basically, my plan was to make a simple gun and turn it into a tool that the player can equip. I should be able to have an equipable gun. And it is facing backwards, but I can easily fix that. So to fix that, I tweaked the orientation and the position of the grip, which took quite a bit of time. And now I need to make a script that actually shows my hand. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna be checking the right hand of the player and making it visible whenever I detect a change in its transparency. Yep, just like that. But we still can't shoot it, so I'm gonna make a local script inside of the gun. In that local script I get the camera's position and look direction and send it to the server with a remote event where I create a raycast using that information and damage the enemy that was hit by that raycast. And that's time. And just like that I can damage these enemies. Now that was a bit better, but let's see what I can do in 1 hour. And go! I started off by making something that every shooter game has, except for my 1 minute one. A gun. I also made a hand because this game is gonna have something called a view model, which is basically a floating pair of arms. And just like that, I have a view model. After that, I made a script that takes the view model and positions it in front of the camera every single frame. But yeah, now I have a functioning view model. So now I just need some enemies and a way to shoot the weapon. I started by finding a decent shooting sound, and I did find one eventually in about 2 minutes, which is more than 3% of the total time I have. After that I added a local script that fires a raycast every time the player clicks. After that, it determines if the object that was hit by the raycast is an enemy, and if it is, it sends it to the server with a remote event, and if it's not, it sends an empty variable. Then in a server script I play the shooting sound and check if there's an enemy that was hit and make it take damage. And now I can shoot at enemies. So now I just need to make them follow the player and try to kill them. The way I did this was by checking for the closest player's position every second and making it go towards that position. It's kinda slow, but I can easily fix that. Maybe every 1 second was a bit too infrequent. So now I need them to damage me, which is also pretty easy, I think. And I was right, I just had to check for the players that are close to the enemy and damage them. But it's a bit unfair because it's as fast as I am, so I'm just gonna make it a bit slower. Okay, that's much better. So now I need a way to spawn the enemies. For this part I just clone the enemy every 5 seconds and put it in a random position. And just like that, I have randomly spawning enemies. After that I added a score that increases every time an enemy is killed because I was running out of ideas. And as you can see, I have a score, and if I kill this enemy, I should get 1 score. Okay, it doesn't work. What I didn't realize was that I put the score part after an infinite loop, and if you know anything about scripting, you'll know why that is really stupid. Okay, it works now, it was a stupid mistake. Since I still had quite a bit of time left, I decided to make a map where the player can completely avoid dying by just jumping on one of these brown things because the enemies are too stupid to jump. And that's the 1 hour game done. The improvement is pretty noticeable from the 10-minute game, but I still have 1 more game left. But I feel like I need to put a little spin on it, otherwise it would be pretty boring. Ooh, what was that? That's a pretty nice idea. How did somebody even think of that? I mean, how did we even think of that? So basically, this will be a round-based shooter where ghosts will attack the players, but they only become visible when they attack. Except that's a bit unfair, so the players will have a special camera that they can use to see the ghosts. And with the game idea in mind, I loaded up the 10-hour game and started the timer. Before getting started on the gameplay, I decided to make a lobby area first because why not? The way it works is it has these teleport boxes that have some triggers on the side and an inner and an outer teleport position. And at the start of the game I look through a folder containing all of the teleporters and create a table for each of them that keeps track of the players waiting to teleport. Then I teleport any player that touches the triggers to the inner position and add them to the table if the number of the players in the table is less than 4. And lastly, I wait 15 seconds if there's at least one player in the table, reserve a private server for the actual game and teleport all the players in that table to that server. But anyways, this is how it looked after about an hour. After that I made a gun which is heavily inspired by the one in Rivals, and after another hour I had a pretty nice view model. But you might notice that it looks a bit too stiff for a pair of hands, and fixing that takes a lot of mathematics, but let's just say I have tools for that. And now my hands look less like an image just slapped on top of the gameplay. After that I added some sprinting, and you might already have a clue on how I did it, so I'm not gonna explain it. What I am gonna explain is the absolutely beautiful particle that shoots out from the barrel of the gun when shooting, crafted with the finest particle samples found in the heights of the Mount Everest, harvested from plasma rivers and forged together in Roblox's... Okay, that's a bit too far. I also made a third-person version for the gun and added some upper body rotation. Now this usually takes a lot of time since you have to mess around with stuff like inverse kinematics, but let's just say I had tools for that. With the basics pretty much done, it was time for the bad guys. As you may know, I want ghosts in this game, and for that I need a ghost model, and for that I need a floating cloth, which means... After that I made some different textures for the ghosts that represent their health. By the way, this is completely original and not taken from a well-known game about monkeys popping balloons. But you see, these ghosts are kinda stupid, so I gave them some AI. After that I made the enemy attack and reveal itself for a second. Except it's kinda unfair now, so it's time to make the camera. So a funny story, I completely forgot to record the process of making the camera, so here's the final model. After that, I made it usable with this cool transition. But how does it work, you may ask? Well, I have a viewport frame the size of the whole screen, which is a frame that can show 3D models. And then I just go through all the enemies and clone them into the viewport frame, making them always visible. I also added the health system along with a kill counter. The way the kill system works is by having an object value inside of every ghost that stores the last player that damaged it. And when the ghost dies, it just gives a kill to the player stored in that object value. But fighting just one ghost on a base plate isn't very appealing, so I made a map along with a wave system that makes the game harder as you progress. After that I added some finishing touches like a game over screen, some actual UI and a somewhat good looking lobby. But I still had like 1.5 hours left, so I added a medkit that heals anyone that picks it up to make the game a bit easier. And also a high score so you can show off how far you got. And also some small visual stuff like these lines for the camera, a crosshair and this death animation for the ghost that just make the game look a lot better. And done! Wow, This took a while. But wait, why is there... Okay, we get it. You're gonna play the game before ending the video. That's right, it's time for some gaming. Oh yeah, by the way, I made this icon. So, I have 11 as my high score, but I'm looking to beat that. I think I can get around like 50. I think that's reasonable. But yeah, now we just wait for the rounds to start. Kill this ghost. Bam. I really like that dying animation. I think that's super cool. These earlier rounds are really easy because there's only one ghost for each of the first 4 rounds. Oh, predicted. Ooh, okay, that was kinda close. 100 stars. Okay, that did catch me off guard a little bit. Okay, they're overlapping. Bam. Ish. Okay, I just said a Hungarian word. Predicted. Oh, okay, that got me off guard. This game is actually like surprisingly scary. Especially if you don't expect the ghost. So if you just tell someone that this is just a normal shooter game and they just get jump scared by a ghost, they could probably get kinda scared. But now I gotta really focus, cause yeah, they're kinda outnumbering me right now. Okay, and there are 9 ghosts now. Okay, that's bad. Yeah, wave 20. Oh, okay, that was close call. Ooh, okay, that was kind of clean. Okay, now I'm gonna try to heal up once again. But let's go. Okay, so we don't actually have any red guys. Oh, never mind. Oh, okay, that was really scary. Wave 26 is my record. If you wanna try to beat it, you can play the game with the link in the description and subscribe.